When it comes to suppressed weapons within this game, the sensor is probably the creme de la creme of choices just because it is really high damage and subsonic ammo, suppressed marksman rifle. Sure, there's several reasons. Marksman rifles are usually what you would go to against the automatons anyway if you're looking for precision, right? It's in the name, marksman rifle. But there are plenty of times where you may want something else, a little bit more bullets to fire, whatever. There are options, right? But the sensor is for the people that like to take it slow. They like to think about, do I want to shoot this guy? Do I want to actually stealth the entire base without even killing anybody? It's really more about the one-shots on the heavier units, the Devastators, the Berserkers. That's where this weapon will shine. And of course it does 1 to 2 tap troopers. Now I say 2 tap because sometimes the one just doesn't do it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like you hit him in the shoulder, you hit him wherever. The suppressor has the same issue there. I couldn't tell you why it is, but just telling you it's a thing. This weapon for the most part will do 1 taps, but be ready to do the second follow-up pretty quickly, just in case. Because, yeah, you will get seen because of that bullshit, and it will not be fun. Just being honest. As far as attachments go for this thing, it does have all the bells and whistles you would want. It's got 2 different scopes to use other than just regular sights, which marksman rifle, use a scope. It just makes sense. Something like the 4 times which you see here it starts with, it's okay. It's not the best, but when you level it up, get the 10 times, gives you the anti-material rifle scope on this thing. It's a lot easier to use, a lot, let's just say, better overall, I guess. I mean, some people might think the normal one's better, but it's a gun that requires a bit more precision, and that reticle within the anti-material rifle is better than the 4 times in terms of accurately showing you where your bullet will go. Because probably a lot of people have noticed the 4 times on this thing just doesn't really show you exactly where the bullet goes. There's like, the reticle, which is a circle and a dot in the middle, but it has a little like start of a triangle on the very bottom there. I've noticed the bullets go to that rather than dead center where the reticle is, so do what you will with that. Anti-material rifle scope doesn't have that problem. I recommend, what is it, the angled grip on there? Ergonomic setup probably is the best because you want to be able to move this thing and accurately shoot 1 or 2 shots, not really spam fire shots out there. It's not built for that. Granted, that doesn't mean I don't do that, but it's just not meant for that. The suppressor is meant for that. The sensor, methodical shooting. Okay, most people that play on the bot front know this though. They understand the strength of a light pen weapon on the bots because most of the time you should be shooting at the weak points anyway, if not most of the time, all the time. Granted, nobody's 100% accurate, so I'm not going to hold it against you if you miss because I do it plenty. I mean, you'll see it here and there throughout all of this footage. I can't aim all the time, but when I do and I actually land it, it feels great. People that play on the bot front understand this. They've done this 1,000 times, okay? It's just run of the mill by now. Moving on to the Reeducator. This is a very interesting little weapon. 6 shots, does caustic damage, it's one-handed, but it shoots that dart into the target, right? And it will kind of disorient them for about, 10 seconds? The absolute best use I have found for it is taking out hulks or, anybody chasing you, get them out of the way. But the Hulk thing here, you've seen it twice now already. Just shoot them once and then dump a mag into their back. It's free. You're giving them free back shots, and what do you get? You don't die. You don't have to use your support weapon. You don't have to really worry about much. In actual combat scenarios, it's actually pretty strong too, because if you're getting chased by something and, you need to reload, need to heal, whatever, just shoot it and run. You don't really have to worry about it for 10 seconds. Now, in game, that feels like 2 or 3, but it does make a difference, okay? Just have to remember that you only are holding 6 darts in that thing. Granted, it'll go quick, but if you ration them, you'll see the true potential of this weapon eventually. Granted, most people won't drop their ultimatums or, the grenade pistols, whatever the hell else they're going to use. Maybe even the SOCOM, you know. That thing is so fucking good now. But it's a matter of getting people to use something that doesn't directly deal a lot of damage. Because, yeah, I have killed like an anti-air emplacement with the re-educator, but I wouldn't recommend it because it took like 10 mags. And I don't want to tell someone to spend, what, like 3 or 4 minutes shooting 60 plus darts into that shit just to see it pop. There's no reason for it. Use real deal, support weapons, explosives, whatever. Use this to supplement the loadout, not as a main fucking damage dealer or anything. It is a very unique weapon. Right here you can see I am so beyond fucked up, other than, my limbs not being broken, right? I don't have anything to my name, and I'm trying to just get to my partner here. You saw all the bullshit that was chasing us. Now, under normal circumstances for this game, these two Devastators have a pretty good chance of just, 100% accuracy and just fucking me right then and there, right before I get to my teammate. Thankfully, the re-educator said otherwise. It allowed them to miss every shot, allowed us to heal and get out of there. It has a lot of benefit, but I don't know if people will drop their ultimatums for it, truth be told. Now, the suppressor. I have a kind of love and hate relationship with this thing. I want to like it, and in some ways I do, but I don't like how it performs even against normal troopers. Now, that is the only enemy I recommend you kill with it, other than maybe those, normal striders that I just walked past, right? Those guys are probably the easiest enemy on the bot front to actually kill with this thing. Now, troopers can survive a headshot, it feels like, or just a burst or whatever, because this thing does fucking like no damage. 80 damage, man. Now, I think the reason because of that is it starts with 45 rounds in the mag. It's got the ability to get the drum on there, and it's got a decent enough fire rate, right? This is how it has to stay in balance, I'm sure. But it does not feel good to shoot a trooper and him not die. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. One shot to a trooper that you think is a headshot and it not working is just not it. Okay, it doesn't feel good. Nobody wants to experience that. That's why, 9 out of 10 people will pick the sensor over the suppressor. This thing is built for the close range. Alright, this thing is built to be like an SMG in a way. The closest I could like relate it to a playstyle is for those that have played Splinter Cell Blacklist. It's kind of like how Sam is Panther, in that like that Panther style. That whole gimmick is you're doing stealth, but you're killing everything, right? Usually close range, fucking whatever. There's a few rules to it. This is the closest I could relate this gun to like a way of doing these things. Now, does that make sense to people that haven't played Splinter Cell before? Probably not, obviously. But in the most basic terms, this thing is to be used against the chaff, the fodder, which is basically just like two guys, right? The troopers and those fucking, not factory striders, but war striders? No. No, war striders are the gigantic ones. You don't want to fuck with them with that thing, okay? You will not like it. But this little guy right here that's in front of me, this strider, easiest fucking thing to kill with this thing. So, troopers and these guys. Stick to that. The gun will feel a ton better than it would if you were trying to take on like a berserker or a devastator with it. Now, in theory, since we have 3 loadout slots for it, you could turn it into like, a budget sensor. Make it kind of DMR-y. It's up to you, man. I'm not going to tell you to not do it because I tried it a little bit at first as well. I found that I was turning the gun into something it just wasn't, right? So I recommend either you keep this thing in burst or full auto, it just bursts the gun like manually, right? You want to keep this thing as steady as possible so that you can hit the follow-up shots because they're probably the most important, not just the first one, but the second and third shots matter heavily with this gun. And as you see here, I do recommend just like running through and only killing troopers if you have to. In scenarios like this, where sure they're the only ones that can call reinforcements, but the team's already been through here, or something happened there. Orbitals probably, but for the most part, it shouldn't be the weapon that you just target everything with. There's only like four things, maybe tops, about the lore mine I would say that are actually good. Sticky, anti-tank, 1,000 damage, and it's a lure mine. You can use this thing to pull enemies away from you. This was the absolute best use I had of it, by the way. I was at an extraction, and sure, I figured there'd probably be a lot of them coming in. So with the supply pack, you can just keep resupplying, of course, and just keep throwing them. Just litter them hose on the outside of the extraction, and you have a pretty good chance of not getting seen, hit by any of that shit that's coming your way. Granted, it does take your backpack slot and the resupply stratagem usually, to refill everything, but it's up to you on this one. I personally don't really recommend the lore mine much. It is a little bit of fun, but there's just a way better grenade option for stealth. And sadly, it's not in the warbond. It's part of the superstore stuff that they add like alongside warbonds. So I'm not really talking about it in this video, but I will do one on it at some point because that little grenade is so interesting to me. It feels like it is a key, to stealth, but at the same time, it could also be the barrier to stopping you from actually getting it. Because there are times where it works really well, and then there are times where it's just not it at all. So, you know, do what you will with it. We are now moving on to my beloved C4 pack. Now, this thing is, in my opinion, the best thing that you get out of this warbond, okay? It has a fuck ton of damage in it. Anti-tank, sticky. You get 6 of them. They resupply from the little ammo boxes. Alright, you get 1 C4 for every time you find one of those. Which could be better, but I will take it. I'm not going to complain about it because these things are fucking strong. You've probably seen other people messing around with them outside of stealth and in it and all that. It's just the fact that we can fully wipe out a fortress without anybody in there really knowing. That's really cool to me. But it's all about how you do this, of course. If you just throw them and then hit them, it's a pretty good chance that you might be hurt at least, especially if you're in the base, right? When you're doing it solo, especially, that's kind of wonky at times, right? Like, in multiplayer, it's fine. You are pretty much cash money at all times to use this shit. You should be fine, but solo, I found that I had to use smoke to help basically mask the fact that I'm doing it. Because I don't know if it's the act of throwing it or the act of blowing up the C4 that gets you caught. But the smoke will help you hide from that as a solo. In multiplayer, you just fucking throw everything, nobody knows anything, and then you just hit the button, boom, it's done. You can use it for literally anything. You use it for destroying the fabricators, destroying the heavy units, destroying chaff. It can be used anyway. It's a all-arounder weapon, which is perfect, but a lot of people will see it and be like, oh, it takes my backpack and my support weapon. I don't want to use that. Okay, I didn't hear you complaining about the recoilless rifle. Just fucking saying. Whenever something's that good, it justifies being both those slots. Some people will say it doesn't. I think this one does, personally. That's up to you to decide, of course. That is up to you fully to figure out. Granted, you're using videos like this to figure it out, but as a guy that's completely biased towards C4, it is the best stratagem. It rocks. It fucking rules. It gets the most bitches at the party. It is the cool guy, okay? I love this fucking thing. I will glaze it so hard I don't even fucking care, alright? For the most part, that is everything that matters in this warbond. The armor itself will work as well. I didn't really have to show it all the time because you seeing the stealth shows that it works. But I guess there is one other thing to talk about, and it's the booster. People don't use different boosters, man. Even though this one is good, nobody will want you to bring it. I tried to bring it, and I got told to change off of it pretty much immediately. I salute you if you actually get to use it and see real value out of it, because it does have that.